Hi everyone, welcome to Casual Watch Talk Sunday Social. So it's just me so far. I couldn't rustle anybody else up to join me today. Everyone's busy, but also I have had a couple of weeks off, so I suppose I better explain myself where I've been and what I've been up to. But guys, help me out in the chat if you've got any questions or anything or any topics you want to go over. I haven't got a particular plan tonight. Normally we in our little chat room we normally discuss the topic for the evening, but as nobody else was has joined yet, or nobody else was able to join, we didn't really discuss the topic. So I'm rambling anyway. Yeah, I realized that we've not live streamed for 3 weeks, which is the longest. I think we've been live streaming consistently for 2 or 3 years. And that's we might have missed a week here or there, but 3 weeks certainly was a long time to skip. I had only intended to do 1 week. I had family in town, and Todd, who used to cover for me, Todd V, who used to do a great job of covering for me, he's also been very busy, and the other guys, like, totally understandably, don't feel, they don't want to sort of host the live stream. They don't mean being yeah, exactly, Sam Novi. A lot of people on vacation, they don't necessarily want to host it, so which is totally fine. But then the second week, the family was still in town, so I couldn't really. I had to spend time with them, really. But then last week, I was fully intending to come back, but unfortunately, I wasn't very. I was sick, as fate would have it, and there was no way I could have live streamed there. But anyway, I'm rambling. I'm rambling on. Also, if you've noticed on the channel as well, I haven't uploaded a review for 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. I have got a few more reviews that are going to come out. I've got a review of some great dice rolling watches from a company called TimeStop for playing tabletop games with. So if you're Dungeons and Dragons fans or Warhammer fans, he's made a watch that rolls multiple different dice, like 6-sided dice up to 100-sided dice. Really cool. And then I've got a review of the new Casio watch. So if you want to know about this is the new Casio. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about this. This is the Casio's first ever mechanical watch, and it's I'm just adjusting it at the moment. That's why the band is open, so we can talk about that if you want to have a look at it. And then I'm also got a review coming up of the brand new Citizen, that 40th anniversary one, the Citizen Aqualand 40th anniversary one. And then also really cool, I don't know if this means they're coming back in stock, but the team over at Casio who kindly sent me that mechanical watching also sent me. I thought these are totally sold out. I didn't even know that these still exist, that these were still available, but they sent me the ring watch. So I've already done the review of that, but this is such a quirky little watch, so we can definitely talk about this as well. Though there is a review coming out of it on the channel, but I think it's quite a quirky one. Once I finish these 4 reviews, to be honest, I'm probably going to take a bit of a break from YouTube. I've been doing the channel now for 10 years nearly. It'll be 10 years this year, and I'm kind of losing my mojo with it, to be quite honest. I think it's a number of reasons that I think that the people, YouTube watch scene is definitely moving away, I think, from reviews and going to more sort of the top 10 lists and things like that, which I've never been a huge. I have done them, but I know there's certain creators who are like making their entire brand these endless top 10 lists, and it's not a direction that I really fancy going in. So I'm probably going to have a little bit of a break, to be honest. But that doesn't mean that I don't really appreciate everyone's support over the years. I know some of you guys have been watching me for many years, and I've really appreciate it. Todd, who joins me on the live stream, think he was like my first ever subscriber or one of the first ever subscribers. And the same with Anonymous, who sometimes joins in the chat. He was one of my first subscribers. So a lot of you guys have been watching me for a very long time, and I think I just need to kind of reassess what direction I want to go with the channel, because I guess I've been plateauing for quite a while now. I'm not the type of YouTuber that can upload a review and know that I'll get like 10,000 views on it. It's very sort of up and down, and that's nobody's fault other than probably mine for not having any other avenue. Like, I don't really do Instagram and things like that, which I know helps, and also the watches that I'm picking aren't that interesting for people, unless it's a new one. Do I plan on? Yeah, Robert, I'm gonna have a think about it. I'm It's a time. I've got the time to do it, but it's also a time commitment for, I know, the panel as well that joins me. So I think we probably will continue to do them, but I'm gonna play it by ear. I'll keep you all posted in the community chat, or of course, like, any of you can email me on Casual Watch Reviewer at gmail.com, or I'm also on Watch Crunch, which I'm actually interested to know what, if any of you guys are on Watch Crunch, what do you think of it? I kind of go through phases of. I think it's very, very good, very good for if you're starting out watch collecting. I think it's great for that. I think if you're more advanced, it gets more difficult, those type of things, because either you're going down one specific genre that you're in, one particular thing that you like, and those sort of more general things are not, sometimes there's not a lot in there. Yeah, Eric, you can message me on there as well. I know Eric. Yeah, feel free to message me on there as well, or add me on there. In fact, do you want me to put my Watch Crunch? I'll put my Watch Crunch profile on here so you can at least see it. I don't know if there is a link, but I guess yeah, it's just Casual Watch Talk is my, however I do that link. But what do you guys think about? I think I'm finding that I've been discussing with the panel that does the Sunday Social as well. I think this year in particular, a lot of us have been in like a funny, in an interesting sort of plateau with also like watch collecting and stuff like that. I don't know whether it's the economy or whether it's the watches that are coming out aren't really exciting people. But how are the rest of you guys feeling with like watch content creation, with watch collecting in general? Yeah, no, thanks for that. Yeah, post hype burnout. Yeah, I'm wondering whether it's that as well after the crazy times of the pandemic. Yeah, cheers, Bill. Yeah, 75 subs. Extremely grateful for that. Extremely grateful for that. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for everyone that stuck with me when I was. Yeah. Cheers, Russell. So yeah, top 10 reasons for taking a break. Yes, I'll do that video. Yeah, and Russell, the effort that you put into yours. I mean, my reviews are not, in terms of the production quality, are nothing like yours. So they take me a lot of effort. So yours must take incredible amount of time, and your consistent quality as well, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Is your hand heart one that should be doing really, really well? I think people need to watch the tour you did, the Hand Heart Museum. I know it's not performing perhaps as well as some of your Casio ones, but it's an absolute great piece of like watch documentary content, you and TGV. So people should definitely check that out. Yeah, Design Atelier. Yeah, watch content creation is also low right now. I think you're right as well. I think even some of the bigger YouTubers, I've noticed that a lot of them have sort of plateaued as well. So I don't know what do we think that is it people losing interest in watch content? Can we get Russell on? Yes, well, I would love Russell to come on, but this is a difficult time for the UK creators because it's sort of like 9:30 on a Sunday. So I fully yeah, so I fully understand that. Yeah, and also I think there's been I won't particularly call out the creator who it is because it'll have like a Streisand effect. But one of the sort of smaller creators is he's gone absolutely wild with like conspiracy theories about other YouTubers and this idea of this sort of cyclical thing where concern about YouTubers getting sent watches and stuff like that, which I've always been open to talk about. I mean, it's impossible unless you own a watch company. It's absolutely impossible. Oh, thank Michael, thank you so much. Thank you very much for the very generous super chat. Very, thank you very much. Um, yeah, I think audiences are shying away from sponsored reviews. Design Atelier, if you want to join this live stream, let me know. I'll post the link in the chat. I think the audience is shying away from sponsored review. I have no more views on discussions. Do you know what? I think this is a good point because it's like a weird. I was actually just the point I was going to make. It's like a weird. If you're doing watch reviews and you're big enough, you're obviously getting contacted by watch brands to do a review. So you're like you're having to if you're trying to consistently do reviews, you're having to take watches into review. And if people are sending you watches and you don't have to buy them out of your own money, because it would be, I mean, you'd have to be like mega rich to be buying a lot of the new releases and stuff like that as they come out. I mean, my biggest, I've had some, some very gratefully some massive watch brands send me watches in, and I'm very grateful. I mean, Christopher Ward sent me this in, but that's that I didn't ask for this for them to send me anything, and I do a lot of content for them, but because I'm very passionate about the brand. But one of my other than Christopher Ward, there's other brands like the team over at RZE that very kindly sent me this one in, the Venziano Co team. But I the fact that Casio sent me a watch in, like my childhood brand, sent me a watch in for review. That it's that's like a huge. There was a huge achievement for me. Yeah, yeah. So thanks, guys, in the chat here. Sam's, yeah, Samsung. Yeah, I need. I, I was actually thinking of pausing the Sunday social as well, but I think you guys obviously are really enjoying it, so maybe we'll keep going. Maybe we'll keep going with it. Um, so I think it's a difficult like moral boundary, isn't it, for YouTubers? It's like we need watches to review, so and you can't obviously buy every single new watch. I think I think people are more concerned about the disclosure of it, aren't they? Like if you've been sent a watch, then disclose it, which I always try and do. And I think most YouTubers do that. I almost think it's a myth that maybe there's some that spoil it, but I think a lot of people do say when they've been sent in watches as well. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading the chats here and I can't do two things at once. Keep the engagement, don't just pivot away if you need to. Yes. Yeah, Russell, I need to hook you up. It's a shame that and well, it's not a shame, but the Casio US are fantastic. The team over there, and they also have other ad companies that work for them as well, so they reach out as well. So what do you guys think? You think it's just watch content in general's plateau? In fact, any other questions before I ramble on about this forever? Have you got any other burning watch topics or anything you want to discuss? And Russell or Design Atelier or anybody else, if you want to join, I'll post the link in the chat. Be sent. Obviously, if you want to be on, you're gonna have to have like a camera and a microphone and headphones. Let me know. Okay. Um. Yeah. Design Atelier. So this is the other this is the other thing that I've been toying the thing that I've been toying with. So in order to get like back on track and then accelerate the channel, I work full time. I've mentioned this multiple times. I work full time actually for a tech company. So I do travel. I also travel a lot. I'm lucky enough to travel a lot to visit customer sites and stuff like that. So this isn't my full-time job. So I have to at the weekends, I have to like mentally shift into watch review mode. And sometimes, obviously, it's like I'm really excited about a watch and I want to review it. But other times, as with anything in life, sometimes it's like a school project and you're like procrastinating about it and be like, oh, what am I going to say? And it just sometimes it's too much of a mental thing. Like, for example, I was worried about the Ring watch that I wasn't going to be able to have much to say, but I just put the camera on and it's so quirky that I just went for it. So I think it's like a project that is always hanging. You're having to feed the algorithm. You're having to feed the YouTube algorithm. Otherwise, your views are affected. Now, I think YouTube's altered some of the algorithms to help out smaller channels, but we'll see. I'm dropping a review tomorrow of the Casio, the oh god, they'll tell me off, the Citizen ProMaster Aqualand, the 40th anniversary. So we'll see how that performs, and then I'll know whether my little break has affected the channel in terms of views. The subscribers have still been going up, which is good. Very gratefully so. But yeah, I've noticed some other of the creators as well. They've sort of plateaued as well. Some of the bigger creators. Yeah, so I think the folks who got into watches during the hype have matured in the content they want and watch. Yes, I think you're right. So Design Atelier, we're kind of in the same mode. I still have a full-time job in a luxury store here, and I'm more focused on designing watches. That's really cool. Yeah, let's have a look. It's with a full-time job with a 2 and 7-year-old that want your energy plus Mrs. MWC. Yeah, algorithm is like a hamster wheel, keep spinning, performance is better, get off the wheel. Yeah, it's funny how that happens, isn't it? I've been added into only recently. I don't know, Russell, if you have a YouTube contact. I don't, but they've been reaching out to creators and trying to put us on courses and stuff like that. I think it's actually to push more of the shopping side of it. But I would love a YouTube uh, contact, like a YouTube. I forgot what they call them. Not a brand ambassador, like a channel ambassador or somebody that helps you out with YouTube. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're right, but that means the channel suffers. Yeah, that is, you have to keep churning out content. Who's this? Oh, I think she's a bot, the channel manager. Maybe if you're getting contacted by it as well. Although Russell, I did join one, and it was a video link. Not this recent batch, but the previous batch was about shopping, and it was a really cool guy actually who went through like a YouTube course. It wasn't really helpful, and what was hilarious was they did a Q&A on that. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but they did a Q&A on that YouTube training course, and everybody asked, how come I'm making the same content as another channel, yet my views aren't as good as theirs? It's that the age-old question, is it with YouTube? They don't have an answer for it. They don't know. They can't answer why that is. but it's all to do with the engagement and views and stuff like that. I mean, what channels are people really enjoying watching at the moment? Maybe it's just with me, but watch release. Yeah, maybe it's just me, but what? Thanks, Robert. Maybe it's just me, but watch releases in the last year or so have been uninspiring, particularly Seiko. I think you're right. I've been feeling the same. I mean, this obviously they sent me this in, so may contain product promotion. But when RZE did this digital watch, I thought it was just so quirky. I thought it was cool, and it is a really cool watch. But I just thought they were doing something different. I think a lot of companies that I get emailed about, which and all credit to starting a watch brand. These micro brands starting a watch brand. I mean, Simon at Escapement 24, he was keeping us up to date with his Kickstarter that he did for the Monceau brand and the level of effort it takes to do these micro brands. So I don't underestimate these micro brands at all. But I think in order to get a foothold, they have to make a lot of watches that are very samey, unfortunately. Yeah, this watch, that watch channel is growing fast. I think he is really good. I think that I keep saying to Pete McConville, I'm like, jokingly, I'm like, oh, he's stolen your shtick. Because Pete used to do those very thought provoking things, didn't they? Pete McConville used to do those but I think he's kind of lost the love for it as well. Let's have a look. Brassic time. Also, there are so many YouTube channels and only so many hours in the day. So inevitably, as watch releases seem to be increasingly meh, you watch less. I think you're right. I mean, I actually the Christopher Ward Loco. They offered to send me the Loco in for review. I mean, a press loaner. So there's a press loaner that Christopher Ward has a press loaners that go round the country. And I actually, it's the only ever Christopher Ward that I've declined to review because I knew that I would just be in the pile and I knew people would do a better job than me at it. Like Watch Chris would have, my review would have been on the same level or not as good as Watch Chris's. So I knew that because he was that his would have been better. So I just thought mine would have just been in the shuffle. Yeah. So James, yeah, Brit Modi. I don't know who Modi is, and the ID guy, Jody. Yeah, Jody. Yeah, I mean Jody's got himself in such a rhythm now, and I've mentioned this before actually. That a lot of these micro brands, when they're really messaging me and asking them, if I always tell them, first thing I ask them is, have you spoke to Jody? Because Jody, I think, has got that's his thing, what he does so well, like these smaller brands. Same with Watch Chris is making a name for himself with these smaller micro brands. I'm too kind of in and out with the micro brands in order to make an impact, I think, on a micro brand. Yeah, I'm much more excited Tyson says, I'm much more excited about the future of Citizen and their autos than Seiko currently. Yeah, Citizen are doing some amazing stuff. I mean, this we'll talk about this in a second when I stop rambling about myself. This the Casio Edifice, they're automatic because I've got some thoughts about it. I'll put it in a review, obviously, but I'm interested to know what you think. Brassic time. Yeah, Seiko is just trolling us with SRPs now. The whole YouTube could be dedicated to Seiko pricing. Yes. Do you know what? As well, my best performing videos are when I'm criticizing Seiko because people just they don't like it when you criticize Seiko. But to be fair, it helps my channel out. Maybe I'll just do criticizing Seiko because I do even because I love Seiko, don't get me wrong. But yeah, some of their prices. My problem with Seiko is that their prices are going up, their case finishing's going up, their bracelets are going up, but they're still keeping the movements, those entry level movements in some of these like really quite nice watches. Yeah, so Designer Telly says, yeah, honestly, micro brands are some of my least viewed videos, just really searching for views. Yeah, I know Designer Telly, we both do Venenzianico, which I mean, they're doing well. They don't need our help really, but their watches are phenomenal in terms of what a micro brand can do. Yeah, watch. Yeah, the common denominator of YouTube is carving out a niche. Yeah, it is. It is. That is right. And I think I'm too. Who else was I chatting to this? I think I do too sort of middle of the road. I need to pick a lane. Maybe that lane is just Citizen and Casio. Let's have a look. Seiko are three prices: RRP and MRP. The real price and the discounted after 2 years. Yeah, that's right. And it's amazing how many of those limited edition watches that they hype up are still available. Um, yeah, I also like Killing Time with Norman, and You're Terrific. I like Norman. I'm not sure if let's have a look at that. I'm not sure if I know who that is. Killing Time with Norman. Is this the guy who does it in a single take? Let's have a look what we've got here. Killing Time with Norman. I'm going to share this. So this guy, yeah, I'm not sure I've seen any of his reviews. Well, I'll subscribe to him. Maybe I'll check him out. How's he doing? 5,000 subs. Yeah, we need to get him up there. But yeah, 1.3k views. That's doing pretty decent there. Good on him. Awesome. Thanks for that. You're Terrific is doing really well. Does anybody know where he came from? He must, I think he was big on Instagram, wasn't he? I mean, his photography and stuff's awesome. Oh, he's always late night. This. Yeah. Well, let's talk about this Casio Edifice, because I think this is actually quite an important watch, but I've got quite a bit to say about it. You can't really see it here, but it's got essentially like a forged. They don't call it forged carbon; they've got another name for it. But it's got a forged carbon dial. But the bracelet and the case, I think, is awesome on this. It's only a pin adjustment system, but they've done an excellent job of the bracelet. There's no micro adjust on the clasp, but it is a machined clasp. See-through case back. It feels really high class. The brushing and stuff that they've done is done to a very high standard, and the polishing is very well on here. It's not like sometimes you feel like Casio like stamp the case and they just give it like a cursory polish. Yeah, this is what I was going to talk about. And I'm going to say something controversial here. I think this watch is too good for the NH35A. I think the level of finishing on the case, the applied indices, the bracelet. I'm sorry, I need to adjust this. This isn't. I've just taken this apart because I was photographing it flat. But the level of case finishing and things like that. The only negative on it, one negative I would say is I know the jury is still out on whether the Edifice logo is too much like a sports watch logo. And if they just put Casio on this, I wouldn't have been offended, like a nice applied Casio logo, but it does fall into the Edifice line. But it's got beautiful applied indices. The hands are good, except the loom is only on like the ends of the hands there. So the loom is nothing to write home about. But overall, the NH35A is a great movement, and it belongs in like tool watches and stuff like that, I think. But I think this is actually, they've done too good a job of the case and the bracelet for the NH35A. This should have a Miyota 9000 series in it, or even a Le Joux movement, I think would be excellent in this case. Now, it would put it into it's the price point, because I think this is only like $300, this is a lot of watch for the money. For $300, a lot of watch for the money. I think, but I feel like that's the only thing that I'll comment on. I mean, it has got a signed rotor, but they've just basically just printed Edifice on the normal rotor there. But it is sort of integrated, but it's got like 12 mil spring bars, and I think they'll do a rubber bracelet for this as well, because one of the watches does have a rubber bracelet on it, although it's not available now. But I think they've done it's a lot of watch for the money, this Casio Edifice. Yeah. So Eric says, I was hoping that Casio developed their own movement, maybe in the future. That would have been cool, wouldn't it? But I wonder what the I wonder whether they probably would have had to have bought a movement company, I think. I don't know whether they can ground up build a movement from like a brand new movement from scratch, I don't think. But if they'd bought a movement manufacturer, that would have been interesting. I mean, Citizen has done so well at vertically integrating Miota and Le Joux Perret, and of course, like Frederic Constant and all of those movements that come with that brand into that, which Casio never did they? Casio just was always high precision quartz movements, and I wouldn't. This would look cool as a high precision quartz, but I know they've got so many quartz in the lineup as well. But they've gone all out on this. I think this is going to be like a huge hit because 300 puts it into quartz PRX category, and I think the PRX has a distinctive look to it, but this fit and finish on this is better than the PRX. Let's have a look. There's a lot of talk about Seiko is ring fencing movements for Casio, so there'll be fewer dealer NH35As for micros. That's interesting. Let's have a look. Mark at Long Island Watches thinks the new Casio is why the NH movements from Casio have gone up in price. Casio's large order sucked up the supply. If Casio's used the Miota 9000 series, it would do the same. Yeah, I don't doubt that. $300 for a Casio feels wrong. Well, that is the Edifice. Edifice is in that category, though, isn't it? That Mugen one that I did. There's a lot of Edifice. That's probably why it's in the Edifice category. And I know they've got like Casio, Edifice, and then the Oceanus as the sort of high end, sort of Grand Seiko, haven't they? But this is spectacular for the money. I'll do a review on it, although my camera's just packed in, so it might take me a while. Okay, so Design Atelier says, I disagree with the NH35A. Our suppliers can get them at same cost so far. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I think I think the I think they could have gone to a Miota 9. But I suppose then who would they do they think that Citizen is a competitor? I wonder if that was a decision. I mean, obviously Seiko, Casio, and Citizen, obviously they're all competing with each other, aren't they? But I suppose Casio has more. Like Seiko doesn't have a lot of low end watches, do they? That compete with Casio's sort of bread and butter business. Seiko's kind of got rid of all the sort of low end stuff, haven't they now? Casio using mechanical movements is just wrong. Well, I think they're trying to kind of capture it, aren't they? They're kind of testing it out and seeing what they could do. I mean, isn't it wild that this is their first ever mechanical watch in the decades and decades that Casio have been around? And our childhood, my childhood watch brand, whether it was at the cutting edge of innovation, and now they've put a mechanical movement in there. You can't really see it if I tilt it ever so slightly. It does have a satisfying sweep to it, and they've gone all out. Like they've not skimped on this. It doesn't feel like this is a prototype that's testing the waters. It seems like they have done a lot of design effort into this. They put a lot of design effort into it, and they've kind of gone all out for your $300. That brushing and it's kind of sort of integrated. That's the only slight negative with it, is that it doesn't articulate at the lugs there. It kind of comes straight down. So if you've got a smaller wrist, it might sort of, Yeah. I wonder if they're just trying to. I wonder if they're seeing the success that Seiko and Citizen as well. I mean, Citizen, it was only a few years ago where Citizen only had that one dive watch. I can never remember the name of it, but it had a crown guard that was, I think, looked a bit like a Panerai. I can't remember the name of it. And I think that at that time, 5 or 6 years ago was literally the only mechanical watch that Citizen had in their lineup, and they've now got multiple different lines of watches. Oh yeah, cheers, Kevin. Yeah, so I wonder if they're seeing Citizen and thinking, "Wow, they're having a lot of success with their like the Soyosa." I mean, this blows the Soyosa out the water. I mean, and I'm a Citizen fan, but the Soyosa's got a very jangly bracelet. This is solid. This would put Seiko to shame. This bracelet. This is a high end, solid linked. I think it's a solid link. Yeah, high end solid link bracelet with a machined. You, Citizen are they never put a machined clasp on a $300 watch. This if this competes directly with the Soyosa, I would say that this is a much better watch. Having said that, the Soyosa comes in multiple different colors, but this one's comes in green, and there's a forged carbon case as well. So I think the only thing that, although the Soyosa has like an 8,000 series, which is movement, which I think is probably the equivalent of the NH35A. Yes, yeah, I would check it out if you can, if you can get your hands on one. They sent me this in. I'll put a paid promotion thing at the top. Casio sent me this in, so just so you know. Um, I'd buy. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'd buy high accuracy quartz from Casio with a smooth second sweep to replace cheap mechanical movements like the NH35A. Yeah, I would buy a mechanical quartz watch with a sweep in seconds. This has got the date on it, and I don't know whether you can get those mecha quartz with a date on the three-hand mecha quartz with the date on them. But I think they're just I think they've seen the success of probably the Soyosa, I would say, and I guess they're seeing what will happen. And I think that I think this will be a big hit when people see it in person. It would be great if the Citizen Group made the Bolivar Precisionist movement available to other manufacturers. Yeah, it would be. What what other watches are what other watches are people interested in? I still I've still got a hankering for the Tag Aqua Racer, but I'm waiting for the prices to settle down because they're over 4,000, I think, in store. I actually got offered a discount in a AD on a tag, but there's like a lot on Chrono 24. I'm just seeing what the level is gonna smooth out to. Yeah, smooth second quartz is a battery drainer, so maybe new battery tech can help that these days. It would be nice. Yeah. Yeah, I just got a Citizen. So Tyson says, I just got a Citizen Toyota Small Seconds last week and been very impressed by it so far. A bit hefty compared to the Tissot PRX, but still a very nice watch and a killer price. Yeah, they are good. I like them. What I think this has got going over the Soyosa is, look at that. It's like a solid bracelet. The Soyosa it's got that um, reassuringly vintage jangle to it. Yeah, I hope that's as far as they follow the competition. I can't imagine seeing Grand Casio or the Casio. Yeah, I mean, their Oceanus range is their sort of Grand Seiko, but to be honest, they're so distinctive looking, aren't they? They have done a three-hander that looks. Let's just pull up Casio. Let's have a look at Casio. They have done a three-hander, haven't they, in that Oceanus? But I think the watches are so distinctive, aren't they? That the Oceanus, you really have to like that style of them. Brands. Let's have a look. Yeah, so they're Their sort of Grand Seiko is the Oceanus, isn't it? I mean, they have done these three-handers. Oh, it looks like they've reduced the collection quite a lot. Let's have a look what's not in stock. But yeah, I guess you have to like this style because they still look very Casio-y sports watch, don't they? But just more high end. Oceanus. Oceanus. I mean, they have started. Let's have a look. I mean, the G Shocks they have done like high end stuff, haven't they? I mean, there's these new G Shocks are 1,200. They've got an $8,000 G Shock, so they are definitely you can definitely get a high priced Casio. Hmm. Yeah, the Casio racer is more jangly. Yeah, that's part of its. I think that's part of its unique charm, isn't it? The same with the SKX had like a super jangly bracelet. Yeah, afternoon. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I think this is going to be a big hit, and I will do a full review of it as well after I've done the review of the Ring Watch, and then I'm also going to upload the review of this dice rolling watch, which again, like with Casio being the first mechanical watch, or I think this is the first watch that has a dice rolling function, multiple different die. And it's a guy in Pittsburgh that developed it. And when I mean developed it, he built the PCB from scratch. Like they built the innards of this watch, the electrical components. They designed it in-house on a breadboard, proved it out, they programmed it themselves, the firmware, and then had the PCB boards made. This isn't like an off-the-shelf movement that they put in this die rolling watch. It's it's quite, even though it looks like a simple sort of Casio watch, there's a lot of technology in here as well. So if you can even do like 6-sided dice on it. So you don't have to be like a Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer player or anything like that. You can actually, he says that there's even users that just make life decisions on it. They like, pick up a couple of choices and then decide, where should I go for dinner? A 1 for McDonald's and a 6 for a high end place, and they just roll it. Robert Coleman, what 8K for a G-Shock? What the hell is it made of? It's a digital watch. Well, actually, there is a good. There is. Let me just find it, because one of these, they have these guys who are like master samurai swordsmiths and stuff that are making the cases. Let me just find it. The $8,000 one. Do they still have it on here? No, they don't. Maybe they sold out. Yeah, oh no, there we go. So I think it's one of these maybe it's this one. They had a guy who makes samurai swords there you go. Do the actual the metal work on it. So that's why it's $8,000. Because they're like almost, it's got Damascus on it. They're almost, I would say, almost piece uniques in terms of them being, the cases being handmade. That one was, 8,000. MRG G-Shocks, yeah. Yeah, that's why they're $8,000. Do you know? And actually, I don't. There's something about these that I really like, but I am so. This is just a personal quirk of mine. I am weirded out by the short minute hand on G-Shocks. These high-end G-Shocks, to me, they all have a short minute hand. Like the minute hand to me should go over the indice there. I've always found it weird. I don't know why, but I've always found it weird. That's why I've never bought. I mean, not one of these $8,000 ones, but you can get them in the 1,200 range. But it's always weirded me out that I think that's a general in G-Shocks for some reason. I always think that the three-handed G-Shocks always seem to have like short minute hands, even this one, I think like the minute hand should go over. Well, yeah, Tyson. I mean, they do have them, don't they? Is it Floyd Mayweather that has loads of seriously iced out G Shocks? Do people still say iced out? I probably aged myself there. Yeah, that is a wild collab, and that's what I think they really still have fun with the G Shock. I think, to be honest, I'm a big fan of G Shock, but I feel like their releases recently they went through a phase, didn't they, of last year doing all of the sort of the square was. Yeah, I don't understand what they're doing with this one. They've got it as a bestseller, number 5 bestseller. This is wild to me. This one. This looks like something from the 90s, and to be honest, I probably would have thought it was cool in the 90s. To be honest, when we were all wearing like storm watches and animal watches and things like that, I probably would have thought that was cool. But now it just looks completely weird. I know Russell reviewed this. I probably would have felt exactly the same as Russell, and this one's just wild. I think maybe they're trying to bring back the 90s, perhaps. Yes. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's built for visibility, is it? Do you know what? I found out something interesting that about this. I'm just going to go back to this time stop they're called. In fact, let me just pull up who they are. I want to show you this. So this dice rolling watch, and yeah, it is a simple watch for me to get excited about. But the fact that they developed this PCB board themselves. I think just being a geek myself, I think is really cool. But one of the things that he told me about, Devin, he's called the guy who invented the watch, that this idea that we've been reviewing these digital watches on the channel and then wondering why not this one, but wondering why some of the G Shocks had like a weird viewing angle. And I know people comment like, "Oh, it's the battery going and stuff like that." But Devon actually cleared it up that there's different levels of LCD, and they went for something called, I'm going to forget the name. It's in the interview. It's like a twisted something, which is a high end LCD. This watch is $159, but he said they put the highest grade LCD in there, and you can literally view it at any angle. So it's not that the batteries go in or that the solar perhaps is needs some sunlight on some of the other watches that I've been reviewing where the LCDs are weird. It's the type of LCD they're using. So we kind of cleared it. Allegedly. I don't want to get in trouble with anyone. Yeah. Okay. Any questions, guys? I'm amazed we've been going nearly the full hour. I've been doing it on my own. A big thanks to everyone in the comment section. So yeah, I'll definitely have a think about. I will definitely keep thinking about the Sunday social. I'll try and keep it going. I think the reviews I am definitely going to take a break from because the grind of doing them and with no real idea of what's going to be successful. I'll tell you an interesting story actually. Somebody reached out to me. YouTube have accredited third party people that they work with, and I forget the name of them. They're like YouTube affiliates or something. And one of them reached out to me and said, "Hey, I do a channel management service where I will do the thumbnails to me. Are the worst thing for me to do. The two things that I struggle with most on the channel is thumbnails and the music. I just haven't got an ear for the music to have it like crescendo at the right time of the reviews and stuff like that, or even what music to pick. So often my reviews don't have any music in them because I really struggle to pick them. And also the same with the thumbnails. I'm not good at the thumbnails at all. There's the ones for the Sunday social, Palm from Chrono Passion 4 does the Palm and Andy does the thumbnails for me, but I really struggle with that. I just haven't got that graphic design eye to do the thumbnails. So those are two things I struggle with. But they sort of contact me and said, "Hey, I can edit them, do the thumbnails and stuff like that, like a professional professional person to manage the channel, and I would literally have to review it, and I would literally have to film it and then do the B-roll, and they would do the rest. And when they quoted me on it, I won't say what it was, but it was in the thousands. And then initially you get like sticker shock, like, oh my God, that's quite a lot. But then when I was thinking through it, I was thinking, actually, that's probably time-wise what I'm spending doing the reviews in terms of my time. It probably, if you equated it and gave yourself like minimum wage, that would probably be what it was. And it just clicked in my head that, wow, a lot of us are putting in basically a full-time job creating content in terms of hours. Design Atelier, I'll tell you, to edit a video takes like, at least 4 or 5 hours. We're putting in the time as like a freelance content creator for YouTube, that if you got paid a normal wage. For me, if I got paid even a minimum wage for the time and effort I put into my channel, I would be earning a lot more than what I get in ad revenue. So it just kind of twisted it in my mind. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So yeah, 5 hours is bottom range. Yeah, I mean, all day today I've been editing 2 uploads: the interview for this, which is 20 minutes long, and then the review for I've had to send it back for the Citizen Watch. I edited that this morning as well. And the problem is you like a I don't know, Design Atelier, if you have this issue, but like the motion picture films, I also sometimes have to do reshoots. So sometimes I'll put my camera away and everything, and they're like, oh, I forgot to do like the loom shot, or I forgot to, or that angle would have been better than the one that I had. So I sometimes have to set everything back up again and then do the loom shots. In fact, here next to me is the the backgrounds, and so that's the marble that you've seen, and then this is I'm giving away a bit of the secret sauce here. That's the wooden desk is actually just like a piece of wood, or behind the scenes there. Yeah, and setting up. Yeah, the reshoots on every video. Do you watch Ben's Watch Club, Sam? His videos are fairly simple but very enjoyable. Yeah, so he's doing the in the loop stuff. Ben is the perfect. Last time I was in the UK last year, when I went October time, I met up with Ben. It's the first time I'd ever met him in person, but we chat all the time, and we went to a retro video game place, a retro video game arcade in Manchester. One of the old nightclubs that I used to go to in Manchester is now, the basement has been turned into, it's got all vintage games. We actually spent a whole afternoon playing retro games. Ben is the classic example of, it takes an incredible amount of skill to make it look simple. His looks simple because behind the scenes he is doing an incredible amount of work. His filming, his scripting, and then he uploads the script to his website, and then he's diligent with his Instagram, and then he watches the algorithm. Like he alters, he makes sure that what he's provided, he looks at the numbers, like how Mr. Beast, this is how Mr. Beast got big, was he looked at the numbers, and Ben looks at the stats to work out what the audience is enjoying about his uploads. So he'll look at, like, you can see if anybody's ever seen the back of YouTube, you essentially see a graph. So it'll show this video and it'll show a graph of like loads of people watch for the first 30 seconds and then they drop off. Like, you'll see, and it's good to have like 30% of people who click on it actually watch it all the way through. So what Ben will do is he'll rewatch his own content, watch the graph, and be like, okay, well, a lot of people turned off that. Maybe they don't like when I, talk about this, or maybe when I'm talking about the wrist shot, it should be further up. So he actually really analyzes it, and that's why his content seems simple, but it flows so beautifully. It seems like he's doing it off the cuff, but he actually isn't. He's actually spending, and that actually is helping him with the views. But that, he does it full time. It is a full-time job to do that. It's like in any business, or like in I don't do this, but in my job, we have business analysts, we have data handlers that are reviewing processes all the time, and that's Ben That's what Ben is doing. He's like a business analyst, data analyst for his own channel. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you watch, and that's because also Ben as well. He had a very, very successful men's fashion channel before he started the watch stuff. And I know we complain. Well, we don't complain, but other, the people in like the YouTube community, we obviously certain YouTubers complain about how the watch community, the watch review viewers are like sometimes can be toxic. Most of those people bring it on themselves, but actually the men's fashion thing I think is a lot worse. And so he actually ended up going, because he did a really successful movement MVMT watch review on his channel, on his men's fashion channel. It did really well, and that was the genesis of his watch channel. Yeah, he had a airbag then. I can't talk. Yeah, and Ben at Ben's Watch Club is not only is he just what you see on screen. He is a really, really genuinely nice guy. In fact, everyone that you meet, like Watch Chris, is such a nice guy behind the scenes. Russell, Mad Watch Collector, is a fantastic guy. TGV's really nice. A lot of the watch content creators that I've met in person, with the exception of one, is a really nice guy. Yeah, that's why I don't know. That's why I'm not liking that. There's a sort of a smaller YouTuber that's really given a lot of stick to some of the bigger YouTubers. Not even the bigger YouTubers, but I'm not enjoying that really. I don't like the people that make content about other watch YouTubers in terms of, well, the way that he's doing it anyway. Yeah, and that's been the biggest achievement. I know I'm complaining about not doing any reviews and stuff, but the most rewarding thing you guys are watching, but the most rewarding thing is the panel that I built as well. Like that panel is all like, nobody pays to come on the channel or anything. Nobody ever has. Everyone on that panel is like you guys, been subscribers to channel. So like, Todd, like the two Todds, like Seiko Todd and Todd V subscribers. Mark was a subscriber, although I deny it. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it, guys. Yeah, I just thought I'd come on here and be a little bit, be more kind of off the cuff here. So yeah, I might shelve. I am going to shelve the reviews for a bit, and then we'll keep the Sunday social going. I'll try and reinvigorate it. Maybe I'll try and do I think I perhaps need to share it more. Maybe it's doing like clips, or I struggle with Instagram. I struggle with just being consistent with Instagram. Oh yeah, full hour. Yeah, actually, I can hear I will leave you guys in a minute. Yes, Mark at Long Island Watches. Pleasure of meeting him in person a couple of times, and obviously I chat to him quite a bit as well. Really nice guy. Short clips work. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Bill. Very, very much appreciate it. You guys watching as well. Like, this is a full hour on a Sunday, and some of you, especially in the UK, this is the evening for this Sunday evening for you. So I am very, very grateful all the time that you spend watching these as well. Same with the reviews. Really appreciate the reviews and the comments and stuff like that. Like somebody, I think it was Brassic Time, mentioned, I don't watch a lot of watch content because there's so much of it, and also like my YouTube feed is like news, current events, and stuff like that. So it's hard, and YouTube kind of, it's funny how that's the one shame with YouTube. It's funny how you can really love a channel, and then because I watch YouTube mainly on my TV, And when it's not in that top box, like you forget about it. What was I thinking about? A channel the other day that I used to watch loads. Like every time I would watch it, it was on, and I haven't seen it for ages. So I searched for it, and they're still making content. It's just that it's not YouTube. Just hasn't. I had to switch off the YouTube autoplay on the TV because every time a video would play, it would play what one channel, and it's a channel that I watch, but it was the one channel. Oh, David, thank you so much, very very much appreciated. Thank you for the very generous super chat. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks, guys. Yeah, this wasn't. I wasn't trying to be like hyperbolic here and say the channel's coming to an end or anything. But I was just going to let you and know I had a break. But I really appreciate all the nice words about the Sunday Social. We'll keep it going. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for spending the hour with me. Very much appreciated. More off the cuff. Really appreciated all your feedback there. Watch out for the remaining reviews, which will be this edifice. Sorry, I've got it in the glove there. Be this edifice, the time stopwatch, and then the Citizen, and then the G-Shock ring. Cool. All right. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.